Left alone. A tale of hearts ghosted. It began like a fairy tale, the kind that makes you believe in destiny. Nathan was a man who believed in the power of love, raised in a home where affection wasn't just spoken but shown in the smallest of gestures. His parents, still holding hands after 30 years of marriage, had given him a blueprint for love, one built on trust, loyalty, and unwavering commitment. Nathan was certain he would find that kind of love for himself. And then, he met her. Clara. Her name lingered in his mind long after their first encounter. She wasn't just beautiful, there was something ethereal about her, something magnetic that drew people in but kept them at a distance at the same time. When she spoke, her words were like music, carefully measured, but full of mystery. Yet, there was an unspoken sadness in her eyes, a hidden story that Nathan felt compelled to unravel. Little did he know that her heart was like a fragile bird, easily startled and quick to fly away. Their connection was instant, the kind that makes you believe that everything happens for a reason. They met in a small cafe, one of those chance encounters that felt like fate had finally smiled on Nathan. He couldn't stop thinking about her after that day. Weeks passed and their relationship blossomed. For Nathan, every moment with Clara was a confirmation that he had found his person, his forever. But Clara was different. As Nathan opened his heart to her, sharing his dreams and his future, Clara was silently wrestling with her own demons. She had learned at a young age that love was not something she could count on. Left alone by her parents, passed around between indifferent relatives, she had built walls around her heart, walls so high that even she couldn't always see over them. And so, when Nathan's love grew stronger, her fears grew louder. She had been ghosted by life itself. How could she ever believe that someone could love her and stay? The more Nathan gave, the more Clara recoiled. She adored the way he looked at her with such certainty, but every glance felt like a burden, a promise she was too afraid to keep. How could she explain to him that the closer they became, the more terrified she felt? How could she admit that every time he mentioned a future together, all she could hear were the echoes of abandonment, the same ones that had haunted her since childhood? Still, Nathan remained blissfully unaware. He saw only the good in Clara, believing that if he loved her enough, it would be enough to mend whatever had broken inside her. One night, as they sat in a dimly lit restaurant, Nathan reached across the table and took her hand. "Clara," he began, his voice steady and full of warmth. "I want us to move forward. I love you. I want you to be a part of my life, my future." Her heart dropped. The words she had feared were finally spoken. Nathan, the man who loved so openly, so innocently, had unknowingly triggered the one thing Clara couldn't face: vulnerability. She smiled, that same enigmatic smile he adored, but behind it, panic set in. The next morning, Nathan woke up to a silence that was deafening. Clara was gone. No message, no explanation, just gone. At first, Nathan thought it was a mistake, a misunderstanding. Maybe she had an emergency, maybe her phone died. But as hours turned into days and days into weeks, the truth became undeniable. She had disappeared from his life completely, like a ghost fading into the night. Blocked on social media, her phone number disconnected, no mutual friends to ask for answers. Clara had vanished as if she had never existed at all. Nathan was left with nothing but questions. What had he done wrong? How could someone he had shared so much with simply disappear? He replayed every moment in his mind, dissecting every conversation, every kiss, every laugh, searching for a reason. But there was none. There was only silence. Clara, miles away in a new city, convinced herself she had done the right thing. She told herself that Nathan would be better off without her, that leaving him was an act of mercy, sparing him the pain she believed she would inevitably cause. She had convinced herself that she was protecting both of them by walking away. Yet every time she closed her eyes, she saw his face, the face of a man who had offered her a love she could never accept. Nathan, heartbroken and confused, tried to move on. He dated other women, but something inside him had changed. The pain of being ghosted, of being abandoned without a word, had left him scarred. He began to pull back in every new relationship, keeping his heart at arm's length, terrified that if he loved too deeply again, he would be left alone once more. Running from love whenever it came too close. Nathan, wounded by Clara's abrupt departure, now guarding his heart against the very thing he used to believe in so deeply. Two hearts, once so full of promise, now bound by fear. Fear of trusting, fear of loving, fear of being left alone again. But here's the question. What will happen next for Nathan and Clara? Will Clara come to terms with her past and find the courage to return to Nathan to give love a real chance? Or will Nathan, wounded by her ghosting, slowly become a carbon copy of Clara, running from love whenever it tries to enter his life again? Can they both heal, or will they continue to spiral, leaving behind a trail of broken hearts in their wake? Their story is far from over. The real question is, will they find their way back to each other? Or will the cycle of ghosting continue? Make sure to follow me so you don't miss the rest of this important series on how ghosting is impacting modern relationships and how we can overcome it. Let's heal together.